I'm going with Terence Crawford. Big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will.
Canelo lands good punches. I think Canelo could hurt Crawford. Crawford's, first time in that division and jumping 2 divisions.
No way against lesser competition. He knocks him the hell out. Canelo doesn't finish these guys, and he doesn't look good beating them. Shout out to the judges. The judges make Canelo look good.
Former champion Andre Ward highlighted Terence Crawford's reputation as one of the sport's most dangerous finishers, breaking down why he thinks Crawford poses a serious threat to Canelo Alvarez. Ward pointed out that whenever Crawford notices an opening or senses an opponent is hurt, he doesn't give them a chance to recover. Instead, he piles on the pressure with crisp combinations and razor-sharp timing until the fight is closed. Ward emphasized that this relentless mindset separates Crawford from most boxers, making him a threat from the opening bell to the final round. For Canelo, that means even a single slip or brief moment of weakness could turn into a fight-ending scenario.
I'm going with Terence Crawford. Big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. It ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show me that you can beat him.
Andre Ward spoke with admiration about both Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez as they move toward their showdown. He stressed that this isn't just another big payday, but a contest where each man is putting his legacy on the line. Ward praised the bravery it takes for 2 champions, already proven and accomplished, to risk so much by challenging one another. In his view, it's these kinds of matchups that push boxing forward, offering fans a genuine meeting of greatness. For Ward, the fight reflects everything that makes the sport special, and he respects the dedication and commitment shown by both fighters.
Man, what's up, fight fans? It's official. I'm going to be the 3rd man ringside calling the Canelo Alvarez Terence Crawford fight September 13th at Allegiant Stadium. I'm excited to be a part of this event. I'm excited to be ringside calling this great card and this great matchup. Historic event for many, many reasons for both fighters. Super middleweight supremacy on the line, legacies on the line, your namesake and reputation is on the line. And I just take my hat off to both of these fighters for putting everything on the line late in their careers the way that they are. This is rare, and it's becoming more and more rare in boxing. Guys don't want this kind of smoke. They really don't want to face another counterpart that can ruin everything that they built. And it really don't matter how much money's on the table for a lot of guys. They'd rather take a lesser risk for less money than to risk everything like these 2 fighters are doing. So I take my hat off to them. And I also want to give a shout out to Turki Al-Sheikh for all that he's done to put this fight on. Dana White for all that he's done to put this fight on. And one more person that stays out the way and you don't really hear a lot about, but that has done a lot to make this fight happen as well. And that's my brother, Nick Khan. He just gets stuff done, man. And I want to thank him and shout him out as well for getting this done. So I see y'all in Vegas, man. Part of me wants to be home watching this fight in street clothes, but I got to take the street clothes off. I got work to do. I got to put that suit on, get ringside with John and Max, and call this fight like I know we can. Huge event, huge implications, historic night, and I'm happy to be a part. I hope to see you in Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. If not, man, tune in live on Netflix.
Robert Garcia offered his perspective on Canelo Alvarez, noting that the Mexican superstar hasn't looked as sharp in recent performances. He observed a noticeable dip in both Canelo's hand speed and footwork, which made him appear less threatening than during his peak years. For a fighter like Terence Crawford, who excels at timing, accuracy, and exploiting openings, this is a crucial factor. Garcia suggested that these signs could give Crawford the chance to dictate the fight and bring his own style into play. Unless Canelo can rediscover his earlier sharpness, Crawford's quickness, angles, and ability to adjust mid-fight may become major advantages. Garcia's remarks echo a growing sentiment among boxing experts that Canelo may no longer be at his absolute best, creating an opening for Crawford to take over.
Jumping 2 divisions where he only had 1 fight at 154 and didn't look his best either. So there's a lot of questions, about that. And that's why a lot of people think Canelo is going to knock out Crawford, but I'm probably one of the only ones that I do give Crawford a chance. Yeah. I think Crawford could pull it off. Crawford is very talented. He's very fast. He's very smart in the ring. So I think a perfect fight, Crawford could pull off a decision.
Okay.
I think he could win a decision. I don't pick him. I wouldn't put my money on him winning because it's a very dangerous, risky fight, especially with Canelo being so strong. But Canelo's last few performances, he's looked slow, flat-footed, looking for one punch at a time. And if that's the Canelo that fights Crawford could win a decision. Crawford could outbox him, could outsmart him, could land 3-4 punch combinations and move and win a decision. So do I give Crawford a chance? 100% think Crawford could pull it off. Would I put my money on it? Probably not, but I do give him a chance.
Yeah, good stuff. Look, Robert, appreciate you taking time to speak to me. I appreciate you letting me in the gym today. Always a pleasure. And hopefully be catching up sometime soon.
Thanks
appreciate
for coming.
it. Thank you.
Very
Cheers.
much.
Boxing analyst Teddy Atlas voiced some concerns about how Canelo Alvarez is preparing for his showdown with Terence Crawford. In his view, Canelo might be overdoing it in camp, pushing himself harder than necessary in an already demanding training schedule. Atlas questioned the choice to bring in Jaron Ennis, a young, explosive welterweight, as part of the preparation, suggesting that it could be more draining than beneficial. He stressed that smart training matters just as much as intense training, and overextending can sometimes backfire. Atlas warned that by trying to cover every base, Canelo could end up exhausting himself before fight night, which would play right into Crawford's hands.
Now, so I avoided that. I would bring in specific sparring partners that knew how to be a sparring partner. Yeah, if I wanted some, I went over to him before the day started. Listen, I want you to do this. All right. I'm paying him. I have the right to do that. I want you to move more today. I want you to, I want you to press him a little. You know what? There was a fight I was getting a guy ready for, and I was worried about the first couple rounds. So I said, when the bell rings, I want you to rush out of the corner and go right after him. And I was, obviously I had my guy ready because we were getting ready for that kind of fight plan, for the possibility that the opponent would come out that way. So I wouldn't look to get a boots Ennis. I mean, nothing wrong with that's what they want. That's fine. And I get it, the style, the size, the length. I understand. It's not a bad pick from that point of view. But for me, again, I never go down that road because I got my guy getting ready for a fight. I don't want to leave it in the gym. I don't want to get into that kind of war in the gym. No, I want to have control of all aspects of what the hell I'm doing in the gym to get ready for one night. So no, I wouldn't do that. I'd get the right spar partners. If I thought I had a guy, I get guys that my guy could work with, and if he was having an off day, he could kind of, have his way and do what he wanted with the guy. I'd have one of them. I'd probably have 3 guys, sometimes 4, depending on where we were at, with the calendar when the fight was coming up.
Building on his earlier points, Teddy Atlas cautioned that Canelo Alvarez's biggest challenges might not even happen on fight night, but during the training camp itself. He suggested that Canelo could be pushing too hard in sparring sessions, work that may look impressive from the outside but risks draining his energy reserves. Atlas explained that every fighter has only so much to give, both physically and mentally, and if too much is spent in the gym, it can leave little left for the actual bout. He likened it to delivering your best performance during training instead of saving it for when it matters most. If that happens, Atlas argued, Terence Crawford could benefit greatly, as a fatigued or less explosive Canelo would find it difficult to keep up with Crawford's sharp timing and relentless pace once the fight begins.
And a lot has been taken out of you in the gym. You left it in the gym. And we heard that Jaron Boots Ennis was getting the best of Canelo Alvarez in his sparring sessions. That he possibly gave him a black eye. We saw the knot on his head. That was just a week ago. The fight is next week, next Saturday. So 3 weeks out from the fight, and you having this hard sparring sessions with Jaron Boots Ennis, who wants to prove a point. Leave no doubt. Jaron Ennis is going into those sparring sessions not just to be a sparring partner, but to gauge where he stands against a legend and a Hall of Famer and a superstar like Canelo Alvarez, to understand where he can get better and understand that he can actually compete on that level. So make no mistake about it, Jaron Boots Ennis wasn't in there to lay down. Now, he had a job to do. He was there for a specific reason, which is to give Canelo looks that Terence Crawford could possibly give him. But you best believe in those sparring sessions, he gonna give what he have. He gonna test the waters to see where he stands, right? Not just to help Canelo, not just to be a dummy. There's a reason you bring in a high-profile fighter. And so Teddy Atlas believes this is a huge mistake on Canelo Alvarez's part, because now he has possibly left it in the gym. And now he got to go into battle with Terence Crawford. So it's like having 2 fights in a matter of 3 weeks. And your body's going to show the wear and tear.
A major talking point in this matchup is Canelo Alvarez's trademark punching power. Even when he doesn't appear as fast or mobile, his ability to land heavy shots forces most opponents to fight cautiously. Many boxers who share the ring with him end up spending more time protecting themselves than trying to mount their own offense. That's part of the reason several of his fights have gone the distance. Not due to a lack of finishing ability on Canelo's part, but because opponents refuse to take risks. Against Terence Crawford, though, this approach could prove costly. Crawford has shown time and again that he knows how to pick apart overly defensive fighters, using patience, well-timed traps, and explosive bursts to take control. If Canelo counts only on his power to keep Crawford at bay, it might not be enough against a fighter who specializes in breaking down opponents who hide behind defense.
And no, for sure. I mean, we all see that fucking Canelo got power. That's the same reason why, at the same time, Canelo ends up going a distance with a lot of these guys, because these guys are just on survivor mode, you know? They're not trying to fight back. They're not trying to win. They're just surviving, which is hard to knock somebody out that's just surviving, you know? So I feel like Canelo's power is definitely there. I just think it's just a matter of how Crawford reacts when he feels it, you know? Is he gonna be one of those survivors, or is he gonna actually, you know?
No, I think Crawford will go out on his shield. I think he's gonna fight and go out like a warrior.
At the same time, I feel like he does that, then it gives Canelo a chance to be able to clip him, you know? More of a chance.
Well, Turkey said no more Tom and Jerry. I don't expect him to run.
I mean, I don't expect him to run, but at the same time, it's boxing, you know? It's boxing, it's hit and don't get hit, swim and not get wet.
Is that what Haney did when he fought Jose Ramirez?
No, but that's a different type of...
Is that what William Skull did when he fought Canelo?
Yeah, I feel like it just goes... I feel like when you watch Bivol versus Better Beef, the second fight, that's great boxing right there.
Some analysts have raised doubts about the level of Canelo Alvarez's recent wins. While he has managed to keep his record clean, critics point out that the performances haven't shown the same dominance he displayed in his peak years. Instead of highlight reel knockouts, many of his victories have looked like hard-fought battles where size and physical strength gave him the edge more than sharp technical boxing. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, steps in with a more complete arsenal. His fluid punching, ability to switch stances, high fight IQ, and smooth movement make him a nightmare for even elite opponents. Where Canelo often leans on his power and physicality, Crawford has the tools to control tempo and dictate the flow of a bout. This contrast in styles is why a number of experts lean toward Crawford, even when factoring in Canelo's proven resume and legacy.
He knocks him the hell out. Canelo doesn't finish these guys, and he doesn't look good beating them. You know, shout out to the judges. The judges make Canelo look good for the past 6 fights. And so now we sit here, you know, what is Canelo going to do against Crawford? And while some of you are saying, you know, domination and weight, really the only thing that I hear is his weight, his power, his weight, his power, his weight, his power. And that's all that he has. But when I get to talking about Crawford, we'll dive into that.
Well, to Byron's point, the last super quality fight that Canelo had was against Dimitri Bivol, and we all know what happened with that. You know,
no, I thought Caleb Plant was a good opponent. I thought Caleb Plant was a good opponent.
Well, it was Caleb Plant, then it was Bivol.
Right.
Plant, then Bivol.
Well, don't forget to point out that Bivol came down. Right?
No, that was 175.
Canelo went up.
Canelo went up.
So that kind of puts Canelo at a disadvantage, right? He tested.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to say that,
great.
if you want to say that,
I mean, you know,
I can.
But I mean, I'm not saying that that's an excuse for him for losing. I'm just saying, hey, you know, if you're gonna test yourself to be great, you gotta wear the consequence.
So let me ask. So no, you're right, 100%. But let me ask you a question. I'm just asking because I don't know. Like, so when you watching that fight, did you think it was a weight issue, or did you think it was more of a skill and boxing thing when watching that fight with Bivol and Canelo?
I thought he was outclassed.
I agree. Yeah, it was
outclassed,
and it looked like he was being outclassed by basic fundamental boxing.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So that was my point. That's what I'm trying. I don't think Bivol's weight had anything to do with him because Bivol's not a knockout artist.
And this legendary power that y'all speak of, this ass-taking Zeus god power that he has, it did not show in that fight.
Gabriel Rosado gave his take on the matchup, siding slightly with Canelo Alvarez because of the champion's track record under the brightest spotlights. He noted that from early in his career, Canelo has consistently squared off against top-level opposition on the sport's biggest stages, building a resume stacked with high-pressure moments. Terence Crawford, by comparison, would be entering the largest event of his career in terms of global attention. While Rosado acknowledged Crawford's tremendous skill set, he emphasized that experience becomes the deciding factor when the stakes reach this level. For that reason, he leans toward Canelo, trusting the Mexican star's history of delivering in major fights.